this whole thing is, it's a lot greater than me. You know, it's my name on the package, but I feel like I was just kind of at the helm directing the whole thing and bringing people in and bringing them together and putting them in the same room and making it all happen. Which is, you know, it's a very collaborative record, but at the same time, it is the one most closely in line with the sounds in my head. You know, it's the one most closely aligned with kind of a record I've been wanting to make for as long as I've been making records. This track sequence came surprisingly easy. I think that's because as we recorded it, it became really obvious what songs were supposed to bleed into the others. So I would have groupings of songs, you know, it would be like, well, I know that If I Am Dead and Daffodil need to be together. And I know that About As Helpful and How Darwinian need to be together. And I know that Rows of Houses and Regarding Death and Dying need to be together. So now I've got 6 songs, you know, as these pairs, and so it's just sort of like finding a place for them amid everything else. And as we started to record Jeopardy, we were tracking this really long outro, and at the time we had no horns or anything. It was just basically letting Gord rip this solo, and in the end we added all this other stuff to it. And we tracked, a lot of this record was tracked, you know, as like one solid take, no click track, just the band playing it live off the floor, and then lots of overdubs. And Gord just kept ripping, like we were playing this ending of Jeopardy, and it's just this line. Gord was just killing me with his solo. It didn't want it to stop, and then eventually we were like, okay, well, it's a really long, but we can just fade it out if we need to, and we can go total classic 50s style, because that's what they would have done anyways. And then when we tracked everything else, we tracked horns on top and strings and everything, and it was just the ending of that song. Even though it was so long, I always felt like it was saying something new. Like it was the instrumental part of it was going in all these different places. And I said, I don't want to cut this off. I don't want to fade it out. So we'll just let that be it. It ended up being the longest song on the record. It's over 5 minutes, and it became really obvious to me that that was the closer. Both because of this great long instrumental, and that's a nice way to end a record, and because I feel like throughout the record you're getting these snippets of these amazing performances from all these people who aren't me. And then you get, you know, my last words on the record are this last chorus, and then in comes this like orchestra again out of kind of nowhere, and it's happening, and it's full and it's lush. And it was sort of like a perfect way for me to say goodbye to the record. It was kind of like, okay, well, let's just bring everybody else in, and we'll have this big jamboree, you know, kind of the trumpet and the guitar kind of battling, kind of like dueling solos. And it was really nice for me to just kind of let that be the closing statement of the record. Like, the talent pool in Vancouver is insane. I have access, just from living in Vancouver, I have access to players that, you know, I don't know, like Toronto and Montreal have been the hearts of the indie scene for a long time, but Vancouver has this kind of capital when it comes to improvisational, you know, groundbreaking jazz players, and not just jazz players, you know, in terms of like guitar, bass, and saxophone. I'm talking cello and violin and people who play really avant-garde music. And, you know, one by one, I kind of lured a few of them into the band, and then now you know, because they're in the band, I have access to all these other players, and so assembling a 15-piece band was super fun. And the funny thing is that I got Avon to pare down the charts to fit a 15-piece band, because, you know, he's a very orchestral, symphonic kind of guy, so everything came in, you know, with probably, you know, 6 people in the string section instead of 3. And so it is a lot of fun to play at home, and then when we're on the road, we just, you know, take that opportunity to make the songs different than that. We've been on the road since like February, basically without more than, you know, a week at home here or there, and it's kind of ridiculous. You know, the hope is that in a couple of years the touring will get more efficient, but even though we've established, you know, an amazing audience, you know, amazing to me, audience in Canada, we're still really pushing the grassroots everywhere else. So, you know, if we can keep pushing, and hopefully this record helps. You know, I feel so fortunate to be able to play the kinds of venues that we're doing when we travel in Canada, that I want to see what those venues look from the inside everywhere else in the world. You know, I know there's concert halls all over the world. I want to see them.